Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every day on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show are on Anchor, and you can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Joining me tonight, as always, the mashers for the Monday mashup. How we doing, lads?
How's it going,
lads?
It's been a quick season, hasn't it? The second last Monday mashup of the season. Second last one. It's gone in quick. It's been a lot of fun.
Brian had hair at the start of the season.
I shaved it off.
Stressful. You lost it from being a Spurs fan. That's what it is. Pulling your hair out all season.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like the hair was going to go silver, was it? Some silverware, So, right, let's get into this. Let's go back through the results of the weekend. There started off on Friday, as I was told. I had forgotten. City scraping a 4-3 win against Newcastle. Wayne, what you think?
Well, look, as a football fan, it was a great game of football. Proper open end stuff. One dodgy shout for a penalty, maybe. If you look at the replay where Ake slid in, your man's actually standing on Ake's foot when he makes the tackle. So you can almost give that the other way. But at the end, Super Ferran Torres got up and I think scored, in my opinion, goal of the season with his back heel. That was absolutely unbelievable. Then he got the poacher's goal, sitting around waiting, got the deflect, got the rebound in. He's absolutely brilliant. It's almost like, from what I've seen over the last couple of weeks, that Jesus should be playing out wide and putting Torres in the middle rather than the other way around. But Scott Carson saving a penalty as well. Absolute legend, getting his, being such a, I don't know, there's no other word to describe him than a City legend, really, Scott Carson, after all the work he's put in for us over the years.
What age is he now, Wayne?
35, and he made a debut at 30. He's not as old as I thought. For some reason, I thought he was older than that. But 35,
so did I. I thought he was about 38 or 39 or something.
Yeah, no, he's only 38.
Forever.
Yeah.
Here, let's be honest. When I seen Carson on the page, I thought it was Willie Carson, and I was looking at the racing, not the fucking football page. You go way out of that. Scott Carson, what a legend. Frank Carson.
Frank Carson, yeah.
Where did you just get him from?
I think, no joke. We signed him, I think, for the. You need to have so many homegrown players, and I think we got him on loan. I think they were. I don't even know if we bought him.
No. I meant on the day. I don't mean where you signed him from. I meant where did you find him?
Where'd you get him? Where'd you find him?
He was in Witherspoons in Piccadilly just before kickoff.
Waiting for the points.
Yeah.
But good. Fair play to Newcastle, man. They played some good football on the day as well. So I'm not just going to say they City were great. Newcastle done well, kept themselves well in it. It's just a good game, to be honest.
And in fairness, Newcastle have had a little run of form lately. It came out of nowhere, so they have been tough to play in the last few games.
Yeah, absolutely. No, man, I agree with you there, because Sam Maximin was brilliant, man. What they get against us, he was absolutely quality. It was like the ball was glued to his feet, man. At some point, nothing. Every skip and tackles. Willock as well. That would Joe Willock.
I was going to say that Joe Willock done really well, didn't he?
Yeah. He was absolutely quality. When he went, I think he went down for the penalty. That little bit of play into the box. He just skipped passes. There was no one there. Brilliant.
Well, I heard he done well. I was too busy watching the Late Show. I forgot your match was on.
Well, it kind of was the Late Show, wasn't
it? Careful.
Oh, I tell you, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad to see Joe Willock there playing so well, and you look at the problems Arsenal have. It's just Leeds with a very impressive win over Burnley 4-0. Hope it stays the same this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Southampton with a good win, 3-1 against Fulham. Good to see the Governor back to winning ways. They have been struggling. Brighton and West Ham, I think, was the shock. I thought West Ham would have stepped up with the opportunity that presented itself, but again, falling at the last hurdle.
Again, Graham Potter has Brighton playing really well lately. He seems to be a really good coach. Danny Welbeck's form has been unbelievable over the last month or two as well. It did, and it didn't surprise me, that sort of way.
Yeah. I was going to sorry to interrupt you, Mark. I was just going to say, I think Brighton have been playing that good football all season, and I know it's easy to say, but it's almost like they've been unlucky because of the way they play football, and they've been doing it under Graham Potter like for a long time, I think. And you could almost say they've been unlucky in a lot of the results they got for the level of football they've played or the kind of control they've had on games. And I think, like you said, now it's kind of starting to come together a little bit. You know, they're starting to string a few more, like stop dropping as many points or whatever. And I think like if they stick with Graham Potter and they carry on, like they're a decent side. Like I really rate them. You know, they could move up from that kind of bottom team to that upper middle half of the table. You know.
Yeah. He kind of plays that same brand of football, whether he's playing West Brom or if he was playing Real Madrid. He doesn't let anything kind of phase him. He'll put his men out up against the top six, and he's not feared. He doesn't fear or he's not scared to go out and play football against them.
Exactly, it's great to watch.
And
just to touch on Burnley there. I don't know if he's watched it, but they looked absolutely exhausted. Like you look at Sean Dyche, and I was kind of looking back over a few of the squads and stuff. He only really mainly uses kind of 13 to 14 players. He doesn't really kind of rotate that much, and I think it's catching up with them now. And I think that's where that result came from over the weekend.
Well, not to preface something, but I hope they're absolutely bollocks on Wednesday.
Just put that out in the start in the front.
Are they not Burnley not coming off the back of that good win? Did your man not get a hat trick for them last week? Chris Wood, or was it
against Wolves? Was it?
That was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Was it 2 weeks?
I think it was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
You know, so they've been playing a bit of decent football as well, Burnley, you know. So
it just looks like exhausted over the weekend. I just thought, like that game against Wolves on BBC a few weeks ago when they won, they looked unbelievable, and you're thinking, how can they not do that all season? But obviously, like I said, he only has a kind of strong squad of 13 or 14 that he chooses from.
I think as well, a lot of these teams, once they realise that they're safe, it's just they just sit back and they go. They're on holidays and they chill out and just back off.
We're safe. Yeah.
They're not really playing for anything at that stage.
Yeah.
Or they go to Blackpool on their holidays, you know.
Because they're not allowed to go anywhere else.
Only up the road.
Palace picked up a good win against Villa, 3-2.
And Techers.
Yeah, did you see that? Lad, did you see a man Consa at the end dragging Zaha back? I thought he should have been sent off and Palace awarded a free kick for that. I don't know what you think of it.
Yeah, no, I thought the same thing. I thought it was mad. But,
there's been a few dodgy VAR decisions this weekend, and we will be getting into them.
You can have a whole show dedicated to VAR decisions, in fairness.
Yeah.
We love
many points a lot.
Graham, 2-0 win at the Champagne Lane. Wolves, I've never seen such a fall from grace from a team like Wolves. I know they sold Jota to us and they lost Jimenez and stuff like that, but good Lord, in the last 3 months, it's been shocking.
Yeah, they still have a good team, I think. Now, looking at their starting 11, like, you know, they're not bad. They shouldn't be I don't think they should be where they are in the table. They should be higher. They even should be playing for a Europa League place. But it's another 3 points in a season I just want to be over with. Like, their season has been up and down, you know, especially when we can't even get a manager in. Like, I don't even know who wants the job. But we'll lead it into the summer and see after the Euros probably who wants the job. But it might be too late by then.
Give it a month. Give it a month. You might get Tuchel. Hold out.
Graham.
I don't.
Can I ask you, Graham? Who would your preferred, like, if you could pick anyone, who would your preferred manager be now to go into Spurs, or would you like Ryan Mason to carry on, or like what would your ideal appointment be?
Well, the best route to go down is probably like a former player, like Ledley King is there, but I don't think I don't think he'll get a look in. It should be like a Teddy Sheringham or something, or maybe a Robbie Keane. I don't know.
No,
or Les Ferdinand, maybe.
The route to go down is definitely not a former player. Trust me, it's not the way to go at all. It's the last.
It doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work for everyone.
Say that again. Second in the league. Second in the league.
Who? Oh, yeah.
You're making that sound like you won something for coming second in the league.
Now look,
where's your medal? Where's your medal?
Look, exactly. Look, if you can't say former players don't do well. Tell Pep Guardiola he didn't do well at Barcelona. Do you know what I mean?
But I think from a Spurs point of view, I think a better option, I know where you're coming from, Graham, would be to get another manager in, but maybe have one of those as his assistant, the likes of Robbie Keane, who knows the club inside out and all.
Yeah.
Or like you said, a Les Ferdinand. I know Lely King's already there. He's done his coaching badges and he's well respected. But I think that'd be the way going forward, to get someone in and have someone like that beside him.
That engine, yeah.
I think no disrespect to Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane ain't getting an assistant manager near any club in the Premier League.
Would you not agree, lads? Like maybe, like I know I always take the piss out of Spurs and all that, but do you not think they're going for something? They should be aiming for a more elite manager. Like I know they just had Jose Mourinho in, but me personally, like jokes aside, Spurs are a big club at the end of the day. Look at the stadium they have, look at the facilities, the investment in the club, the quality of players. They can't be going for a Robbie Keane. Don't get me wrong, Graham. They need to be going for, like, I don't know, your Ancelotti's, your Allegri. You know, that for me, I think that's what Spurs need to be going for. There's no reason Spurs can't be challenging for Champions League football. They proved that 2 years ago by getting to the final, you know?
Yeah.
So I think going for it, like I think fair play to Ryan Mason taking the job on, but he's not a long-term option, I think, for a club like Spurs. I think they need to be aiming for something really top level. You know, what about Rafa Benitez? You know, Rafa Benitez coming in there and doing a project. You know,
or Zinedine Zidane said he wants to leave Real Madrid.
Yeah, bring Gareth Bale with him.
Well, the thing about Zidane, if he did go to Spurs, it might kind of keep Harry Kane on side. Then he might say, "Geez, I'll play under him instead of heading off elsewhere, maybe." And see how you go from there. But Allegri, he's been linked with everyone lately, hasn't he? Juventus, Arsenal, everyone. Like, but and that's the
apparently he's had meetings over the weekend with Real Madrid. I was reading.
There you go, and that's what's going to happen. It's like, because we talked about before now, there's not really many experienced elite managers available at the moment, isn't there?
No.
I suppose Allardyce, but he can't even guarantee you now that he keep you up, you know, so you have to be careful there. Let's move on with the results anyway, because we want to get into some of this news. Everton getting beaten by Sheffield United was absolutely the cream in my coffee on Sunday.
Top it off.
Bitter coffee, was it? Was it bitter coffee?
Bitter sweet.
It was sweet as hell.
Bitter sweet.
Little chocolate flakes and all, and a little bit of toffee, you know, a toffee latte.
Toffee. There you go.
I often wondered, like, Calvert-Lewin was going to be the top scorer this year after 5 games and all. You know, what happened there? You know,
he wasn't lucky with a few injuries, though. In fairness, though.
I had Richarlison had a 30-goal season like target. You know, I was reading that today.
For the under 23s.
Yeah. No, that's if the season starts in 2016 and finishes in 2021.
20.
I kind of in a selfish way, I left the best to last. West Brom 1, Liverpool 2.
Well, can I just say, Mike Dean, what was he doing? You don't give a free kick in that situation. You let the play go on. If the ball hits off
Mark. Yes. Mike Dean is a Tranmere fan. Now stop. What do you think he was doing? He was looking after us. Stop.
I was sitting there watching, going, what is he doing? Because in fairness, at the start of the season, there was a law brought in that if the ball hits off, at the start of last season, if the ball hits off you, have to stop play, and you know the attacking team get the advantage with an indirect free kick. Where it used to be a drop ball, and obviously if there was a bit of sportsmanship, the other team would give the ball back. But if you just run into the referee, it's play away, and that's it.
Yeah, but see, the Newcastle player picked up the ball and threw it back to us, and then there was about 3 passes after that, and then a worldly finish. So, like,
no, but I'm just saying, what was he doing? Like, what the hell? I agree with the other decision. The West Brom player was in the line of Alisson for the goal. Absolutely. No doubt about that, 100%. Yeah. But I just found that ridiculous. The Mike Dean first decision, you know.
I don't know whether I got more excited about Alisson's goal at the end, or the bitterness of Sam Allardyce. It's absolutely
what goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he score?
What goal is right?
The rector and Sky Sports loving it, getting all the goalkeeper goals from years gone by.
Don't ask. You're watching the game, right? You see Alisson go up. What's your thoughts as a Liverpool player? Like, did you think for a second he was going to do it?
To be honest with you, the thought was the ball was going to break the West Brom and they were going to score a winner. That's what I was worried about at first. But when I said, what a header
though.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, someone said to me, "Oh, that was a striker's header." I said, "No way. That was." You know what that was? That was like a centre half, like John Terry or Vidic or someone. That's who scored headers. Rio Ferdinand jumping up. Yeah, no one's getting on this except me. That's what that header was, man. That was brilliant.
Because the way he directed the ball, it's not as if he doesn't train every day of the week. It was unreal.
There's no saying that was that was deliberate. That was perfect. That was exactly what he wanted to do, man. That was a great goal. Great goal, man. Absolute great goal. Goalie or no goalie.
Will he do it against Burnley this week, though? That's the question.
Well, I tell you one thing. Burnley aren't the team that break fast. We might put them up for all the corners.
And you have to say, like, after all his howlers, right? And you can't deny he's made a few howlers this season. Then he goes and does that. You must think like, well done, mate. He's brilliant, just class, man. What football's all about.
I'm thinking now against Burnley, put Mane in goals and put Alisson in front.
Do you remember City done that with David James a few seasons ago? Stuart Pearce had the jersey and all painted off, and I think it was against Middlesbrough, wasn't it? The last game of the season or something. And he was like a bleeding. He was like the bowling ball knocking over pins, hitting off the defenders and all.
And Kyle Walker in goal, we did as well.
Jesus.
I think in fairness to us in the game, we were really the only team playing though, weren't we, when you think about it? I mean, the amount of chances now we created, but it was good to get over the line because I was sitting there thinking, here's all these Chelsea and Leicester fans now with the updates ready to fire into me DMs. And then all of a sudden I just went, boys, delete.
Here's a question for you, lads. Do you think we'll see more keepers doing this? Because is that not the third time this season this has happened, through the lower leagues? And, that's like the third time a goalie's come up and scored or assisted. One of the goalies got an assist in the end. But, do you think this is something that'll happen more?
Well, see, the problem is, Wayne, it's not often that situation presents itself in terms of, the magnitude of the game, a game being that tied at 1-1. And risking it, obviously this late in the season as well. A draw for us yesterday would have been an absolute disaster. So we had to get the win and find a way. I wouldn't have cared if it went in off can. It was backside. I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted to get the win and move on to the next game.
The goal.
Yeah. Noel, do you remember that famous one years ago? Sorry for going. Your man for Carlisle, the keeper. And it kept them up, and there was a big pitch invasion, 2,000 people on the pitch. Yeah. You should check it out on YouTube, lads. It's unbelievable. And he was only on loan 6 months at Carlisle. They needed one goal to stay up. In the 92nd minute, he goes up and he volleys into the goal. You want to see the aftermath. It was unreal.
And as clean a strike as you'll ever see.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Well, when I was saying it was happening, I don't know if it was, I think it was in England in the lower leagues, only a couple of weeks ago. The goalie, he saved the penalty in the match, went up, scored a goal at the end, and went to penalties, and then he saved the penalty in the penalty shootout, and they won the game. Like, could you imagine going home after that, man? Like, that'd be unbelievable.
Give us a ring when you're unveiling the statue.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's mad.
I saved it. Yeah.
Just before we get into this week's one, let's have a quick chat about that FA Cup final. Chelsea 0, Leicester 1. Chelsea fans going absolutely crazy about some of the decisions. When the goal went in, when Chilwell scored, I was watching it downstairs with Ben, and I said to Ben, that's offside. I called it offside, and I know it was real tight, but what I did was, when I was looking at it, I looked along the 18-yard line, and I could see he was just slightly ahead from a fraction. You know what I mean? It was a tough call. But it's just, when you put that aside and then you put the handball aside, the decision on the handball, but Leicester were by far the better team.
That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great they were.
Lads, I have to disagree with you, man. I completely think that offside, and I'm a City fan, obviously a little bit of a thing on with Chelsea at the moment, man. Them beating us now twice and going into Champions League final, but I don't think that was offside. And even with the VAR, and I know he's off his arm or shoulder. If you look at that is a striker moving forward, about to make his run. Like, in my opinion, his run was onside, and that should be it. Like, the benefit of the doubt should be given to the attacking player, man. Like we always used to play before VAR ever came. But that's a goal. Football, I've always watched.
Yeah, but see, the problem is you can't decide that in one of the last marquee games of the season when everyone else is being punished all season for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool have had the most VAR decisions against them this season. You know what I mean? So you can't just change
we're talking about that, but we should be talking about Leicester. You know, your man Fofana done absolutely fantastic. Tielemans' goal was brilliant. Schmeichel, world class saves.
And again, do you not think handball? You don't think that was a handball leading up to that goal?
It came off his knee.
If it hadn't hit off his knee, Wayne, it would have been a handball. But because it hit off his knee,
it's
the proximity of where the ball hit off his body and onto his arm. It's too close to call. Like I said, if it's a true ball and his arm is out like that, it's an indirect free kick all day long.
Fair enough. I mean, but I still think it was a tough call on the offside. I know in the replay that he's there, but I mean, football I've always watched growing up, and you know that was never an offside. You know, because of VAR, you got a decision like that where a striker, because he's leaned forward half a second quicker than a defender, he's offside. You think, how? You know, what advantage did he gain? Like, you know, like did he really gain an advantage if he was 5 millimeters back, you know?
It's just the way it's going, Wayne, isn't it? Like, and then like you look at Tuchel, why didn't he bring on Havertz earlier? Why didn't he bring Hudson and Doyle on earlier? Timo Werner looked dead in the street for ages, like, you know what I mean? So you know all these questions, but you have to say hats off to Brendan Rodgers, what he's done with Leicester. Let's not take it away from them. The job he's done there is absolutely fantastic. And one thing I want to point out is, what I loved about it is we've been giving out about owners on here about the Super League and all. To see their owner being embraced by the staff, the fans, the players, absolutely fantastic. And fair play to them.
Mr. Shivan Danaprabha, he's a legend, man. He done that for his dad, Vichai. You know what that family have done for that club is amazing. The city of Leicester as well. They're not just loved by the club; they're loved by people in the city of Leicester. You know, he died in tragic circumstances. They won the Premier League. They won their first FA Cup. Like what they've brought to the club, and the Kasper Schmeichel bringing him onto the pitch. I don't know if Niall, if you've seen my thing on Twitter, but I thought, as a football fan, that is exactly what this game is about. This is why I love football. You know, I genuinely was happy. I almost wanted to jump on and celebrate with them. You know, it was brilliant. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Wayne, looking at Chelsea from the other night, you know, what will you be expecting in the Champions League final?
Like I was saying earlier, lads. Like I don't think Tuchel would show his hand. Like again when we played in the league, so we made something like 8 or 9 changes, you know. And Chelsea, to be fair to them, made I think 3 or something from what they normally, you know, what would probably consider their strongest team. I don't think we were showing our hand then. Then watching them the other day, and I don't mean like I think they'd struggle against City on form. You know, City controlling the ball and moving it around and as quick and as you know, if they played like they did the other day, I could see that being a problem for Chelsea. No doubt they still got Havertz and Mount and Pulisic, you know, that can change a game. But there need to be improvements, which I think Chelsea can make. Like I'm not saying,
absolutely.
I think going into the final, Man City should be very cautious. I don't think Pep should take the other day for granted. Like obviously they have to play tomorrow. Is it again, Chelsea?
Yeah, Leicester. They play Leicester.
Against Leicester again, another tough game. So I don't think I think Pep will be watching all Chelsea's games very, very closely, trying to pick out their strong points. And I don't know. It's Champions League final, man. Like I'm just
anything can happen.
I mean, I suppose
I'm happy just to be there. I'm just happy to be able to watch City walk out, man. You know, listening to the Champions League anthem. You know, big ears sitting there up for the taking. You know.
I suppose what we want is we want the City that played PSG and we want the Chelsea that played Real in the final. That's what
exactly.
That could be 4 or 5 goals each. Like I mean, like you know, it could be absolute destruction like on that pitch. You know, like you know the way it goes though, it's a final. If City score 2 goals early or Chelsea score two goals early, the game changes completely. The atmosphere drops, you know, and it's such a big night, and it's not often you can do what Liverpool done in Istanbul. You know, it's not often you see results like that happening. So
in fairness, Wayne, like you alluded to, Chelsea didn't get the rub of the green on Saturday. They didn't get that bit of luck. If that equaliser goes in, it goes into extra time. The momentum is actually with Chelsea then, and it's a completely different game.
Absolutely. And like you said, even the fact the goal gets offside for all that pressure, because Chelsea were putting the pressure on before that, getting that decision, it absolutely sucks the wind out of you. You know, your legs almost, you feel the tiredness all of a sudden when you get a decision like that against you, especially one that's so close that you felt was. So, you know, and look at this Chelsea team. We've seen them over the last couple of weeks. They're absolutely brilliant. You know, City likewise. But so I think Go ahead, man.
I was going to say it's your squads as well. It's not just your starting 11. The squad you have to choose from.
Yeah.
You have probably the two of the best squads in Europe right now.
Well, I think Ian said this the other day, or I don't know if it was but I honestly think at the same time, genuinely the two best footballing sides in Europe at the moment. You know, Chelsea haven't been doing this all season, and City certainly haven't at the beginning of the season. But as the season has went on, Chelsea and City have probably been the two best footballing consistently. You know, since Tuchel came in for Chelsea, and City since, you know, maybe February, January time, just been consistently playing really, really good. You know, so it's going to be a great game, I think.
The only thing I'd worry about Tuchel is I'm not sure where he knows his best starting 11. He seems to tinker a lot. The one thing I looked at, and I know it's in the hot topics there that we're going to discuss as well, but Reece James playing at centre back and Aswell playing like a winger. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me at all. And just as we alluded to already, the timing of his substitutions, being able to see a game and make a decision quick. As you said, Mark, Timo Werner was jogging around for 81 minutes, absolutely no effect. Alonso on the wing, absolutely useless, ineffective totally, you know what I mean? But he just hadn't got that bite. I don't know what it is about Timo Werner. I mean, he's given him the benefit of the doubt and he's playing him, but it's just, I get the feeling his head's just not in there and he needs time out of the team. I think if he starts Timo Werner in the final, I think he's gonna have a problem. I just don't think he's clinical enough. Now I hope he proves me wrong, because I know he's a super talent and he can score goals. But I just think the adjustment into the Premier League for him this year has just been that step too much. And maybe, as Ian says a lot of the time, with a pre-season under him and more time with Tuchel and all that kind of thing, he could come on and become a really good player. Like, he hasn't forgotten how to score overnight, you know what I mean? But this has been a poor return of a season for him. And I know some people will turn around and say, but what about assists and the runs and all the other stuff? That's all well and good, but you bought him because he's a 30 to 40 goal machine in the Bundesliga. So let's not cloud the situation here, which is why you bought him. But I worry about Tuchel at times in terms of those decisions. I mean, Werner should have been done probably at half time, to be honest. Because he was literally doing nothing, you know.
Do you not think that's a bit harsh on him, Noel, Werner? Like, because he's had a decent output in all competition, goals and assist wise, since he's come to Chelsea. Like,
but not at his level. Not at his level.
But you're saying his level is 30 goals a season in the Bundesliga. Name a player, the players who've done that. Suarez, Salah. You know, not many players can come and do that.
Yeah, but Wayne, I'm not saying he'll go to the Premier League and score 30 goals, but you would expect them to get, what, 20?
15, yeah.
No,
20,
the return has been poor. And I mean, he's in it, and I know it's difficult as well, because the first 4 or 5 months of the season he was in there with Lampard, and it was kind of a little bit all over the place and stuff like that. No, even since Tuchel's come in, I mean, you're seeing flashes of how good he is at times. But in that cup final the other day, he was absolutely not at the races. I think he took a bad tackle, I think, early in the first half, and I think he got a knee to the ribs or a knee to the stomach or something like that, and he was down for a bit. He never recovered from that tackle at all. He was struggling all day long. And for him to stay on the pitch till the 81st minute, I mean, surely to God, after 50, 60 minutes, you could see he was absolutely going to produce nothing. And with the squad that they have there, those changes, you should just do it. Tuchel has to be ruthless. Has to be absolutely ruthless in those moments. And bringing Giroud on and giving Giroud 8 or 9 minutes or whatever it is, that's absolutely stupid.
Yeah, that's not.
Giroud, I with Giroud though, I think a lot of even Lampard a bit. Maybe Lampard played him a bit more. Like, but I think they missed a trick with Giroud. I mean, Giroud's a proven goal machine. I think he's respected by fans. Even like none of us are Chelsea fans here, but we'd all say like Giroud definitely is a goal machine. You know, you give him 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes in a game, he can definitely do absolutely, if not two, or set one up, or just make runs that pull the defense all over, pull them out of position, like, you know. So I don't know. I think I've been saying this a lot with him, where he's just not getting game time, you know, to go on and make his mark.
And in fairness, Giroud always steps up to the plate in those big games. Remember that overhead kick against Atletico Madrid and all this season? Like, he always does it in the big games. Even for France on the biggest stage, he always scores.
And think about it in the final. Isn't he the guy with his kind of stature that you want going into a Ruben Dias or a Laporte or a Stones and being an absolute pest in that final? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's that guy that you want doing that. You know what I mean? Those other guys won't do that. Like, Ziyech is not going to be a pest. Pulisic will probably skillfully try and be a little bit of a pest, but Giroud will get in around them and annoy them and upset them and pull them off, sort of create that space. He's a big lad, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think I worry at times some of the decisions that Tuchel made. I mean, he's had a brilliant start to his career in the Premier League, but I just think the wheels could come off there really, really, really quick, and I'd be concerned about that. Obviously, the two biggest games coming up midweek. I mean, we need to talk about them. Chelsea play Leicester tomorrow evening. Absolutely monstrous game for both teams.
Yeah,
pressure is going to be absolutely unreal. Chelsea have to try and go out and revenge that cup final, don't they? They have to try and find a way to produce.
They would, yeah.
We know they've got it in them as well, though.
They have them, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because
I think it's fair to say it won't be a 1-0 game anyway.
No,
it'll be end-to-end stuff probably.
But I think it's fair, like, Mark, you were trying to play this, I think, and we then kind of drove off the topic, like, but let's be fair, like, Brendan Rodgers has absolutely been brilliant with that Leicester team, like, and let's be fair, right? The way everyone was talking, me included, right? I was talking as if Chelsea had already won the FA Cup. You know, I was talking like, they're going to win the Champions League and FA Cup and blah blah. But didn't even come into my mind Leicester might go out and beat them, and look what they done. You know, made them look absolutely normal. Like you said, most of the game. I know Chelsea didn't get the rub of the green, but they've been brilliant. And much to say they won't go out and do it again to them. Absolutely rip them apart again, and, you know, pull them around the field like they did yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very big game, and I think
you look all over. Sorry for coming across, man. You look all over Leicester's team. Iniestro's come in the last 2 months, been fantastic. Vardy, right, fair enough, he hasn't been scoring the amount of goals, but the assists that he's been getting, and, you know, the space he creates for all the other players around him. You know, you have the precision of Maddison, Tielemans is in there, Fofana at the back, Schmeichel as well. They have an unbelievable team. And like I say, if Rodgers there pulling the strings, he probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves, because we're always talking about your Klopps, your Guardiolas and all. But he's slowly, and of course, he started with Chelsea, so it kind of came full circle that he wins the FA Cup against them, you know?
Yeah. I think as well, Vardy's leadership was shown as well, and to the players around him. Like, I think that's something that's standing out as well. Vardy's like, in such a short career, he's done so much. You know, when you think he was in the World Cup semi-final, you know, and then how many years ago was he playing for Fleetwood Town?
Not late. He came out of nowhere.
Absolutely, and like you said about Iheanacho, I put that down to Brendan Rodgers' coaching, man. Iheanacho, and he was great at City. Like, when we had him, he was great, and I was sad to see him go. But Jesus, what a player he's become, man! I wouldn't mind signing him back, you know.
Even at the back there with, like, you know, Kasper Schmeichel there and Soyuncu and even Johnny Evans this season has been absolutely outstanding.
Great. And that was such a big boost for Leicester, having Evans start, and obviously half an hour in he gets injured. But I'd completely forgotten about Wes Morgan. They brought him on and he was solid as well.
And they've all Brighton came on as well. They've a tasty enough bench as well there, you know. So then obviously the big game then moving into Wednesday is Liverpool going to Turf Moor. The fans are going to be back in Turf Moor, so this is going to be a real interesting one. As you said earlier, Mark, if the Burnley shows up that's absolutely wasted, then Liverpool, this should be simple enough for them, you know what I mean? But as we know, Sean Dyche and Liverpool and Klopp, there's always a tasty affair. There's always a little bit of a needle about it, you know what I mean? So it should be interesting. But
you know what they're going to do now? They did against us, they did against you. They just try to stop you from playing. They try to bully you. They try to be physical and all.
Stop you from playing,
But sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to...
I thought you were going to say, no, so you know what they're going to do, but there's one thing known about it, and then there's another thing doing something about it. They're so hard to play against. Chris Wood up there, up top. They've Nick Pope in goal is a fantastic keeper as well. So it will be a tricky game. Am I right in saying, were they the team that broke your home record, or was it West Brom?
No, Burnley were the team that they stopped us going invincible, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
They stopped us going invincible last season. Yeah, very impressive.
That's when they had the fight in the tunnel, was it?
At half time, they were nearly having a pop off each other, Although I'll tell you, I wouldn't like to get into a row with Jurgen Klopp. He's a big lad, like.
Sean Dyche looks like a bouncer.
Yeah.
But
he looks like the bouncer that you don't fear.
I think he's like one of your dad's mates or something, you know, someone your dad works with. That's who he looks like. Just reminds you your dad works with. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
But no, I was going to say, lads, I'm surprised you're not big enough. Like, Salah's right in this race for this golden boot, man. He's going to go out be thinking, I'm going to score 2 goals, 3 goals here at Burnley, right? Like, Salah's, I think just because Liverpool's form, no one's talking about him, you know, and also have reached the heights he's reached before. You know, people always think, he's only scored 20 goals this season, when normally that's an achievement in itself, you know. But I think I won't be surprised if Liverpool could win 3-4-0 against Burnley at the weekend, and Salah goes on a little route, scores 2 goals or something.
Don't say that, Wayne. Don't say that, man. Come on. For the love of football, don't say that.
Well, like, let's be fair, Mark. Nod's been very gracious here, not rubbing it in. But the way they beat you the other day was quite nice, man. That was quite tasty, man.
Wayne, I did rub it in, don't worry. I did rub it in, don't worry.
The other night, I didn't realise.
Oh, yeah, you were out getting Calpol, weren't you?
Wayne, we only had our B team out. On Thursday, so don't worry about that.
That's it.
You had your A team out on Monday, was it, or Tuesday? Let's get into some of these hot topics. Let's start, I suppose. Zidane looks like he's decided to leave Real Madrid, and apparently contact is being made with Allegri. Graham, you need to talk to the board of Spurs. Get your act together. Come on, get something
done. Yeah, get Zidane in. Yeah, definitely.
But apparently our friend Ancelotti might be in the mix as well. Which Everton fans won't want to hear, but interesting that his name is going.
Interesting, yeah. Interesting somewhere. All right.
For the Spurs job?
No,
For Madrid.
For Madrid. No, not Spurs. No. You'd hardly expect Ancelotti to leave Everton for Spurs, would you? With Harry Kane potentially leaving.
No offense, Graham, but no, I wouldn't think so. Like, you know.
We might be in Europa League. They mightn't be. So that might be tempting.
That's reason for a man with Ancelotti's record to move. All right, he loves that Thursday night.
You have Europe. Europe.
Carlo Ancelotti to Spurs. More like Carlo the Baker going to Spurs.
Lads, can we say enough things about Robert Lewandowski? 40 goals this season.
He's a legend.
And missed a sitter the other day for 41 to beat Gerd Muller's record. I think he's one game to go, but he's after equaling. But 40 goals. 40 goals.
Unreal, isn't it?
Beast.
Great.
Beast.
It's mad because we talk about Ronaldo and Messi all the time. No one really pays much attention to him. And even on the international scene, he's been lethal. Like.
He has done this every single season, though. Like, it's like almost every if there was a Monday mashup going back for 5 years and you watched it, it'd be his name constantly being brought up as, look how many goals he scored. Like, you know, there's never been a doubt. Talk about a player doing it just constantly. You know, he's never dipped. He's always been up there doing it. You know? Rate him a lot.
Class act. Absolute class act.
It's always when you're bantering that it just gets faded out, isn't it?
Really? Bit quiet there now.
Lads, let's talk about the news that broke today. It's official now. Harry Class A, you know the rest, wants out, Graham.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to be sending me videos today of all the jerseys stacked up in a barrel
Rest in
out back.
peace. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Can of petrol, box of matches. Good luck. Gone.
Traitor.
Where do you think he's going to end up, Graham?
I have no idea. It's down to Daniel Levy. Down at seems to be the ball is in his court. He has the last destination of where he goes. He won't. I wouldn't say he doesn't want to sell him to any of the rivals in the Premier League. United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal. Maybe he's trying to offload him to Barcelona or somewhere, Madrid, even Juventus. I know they're on a downfall. They probably want someone to bang in their seat next year. For a proper striker, Harry Kane.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether Juventus is the place you want to be going to at the moment. There's a bit of turmoil there. A lot of players want out. And we heard there's a fleet of sports cars being shipped back to Lisbon and everything and all these days and all. So, but we'll get into that shortly.
Maybe into Milan. Maybe they seem to be on the up.
Ain't got a shilling into Milan.
Really.
I think if he's going to move on to the continent, I would assume a link up with Poch again at PSG would be the ideal situation. That's the
only way to go.
Yeah, I could see him linking up there. Well, I suppose it depends on what happens with Mbappe and stuff like that, but got to be a very tasty combination there to have Kane playing those balls from deep and stuff like that with Neymar, wouldn't it? That'd be an interesting.
Neymar, yeah.
And Graham, if Kane goes, can you see an exodus then? Could you see the likes of Songanov and Dele Alli and the rest of them leaving as well?
Yeah, sure. They have no reason why to stay. Like, he's gone, the rest of them will join him. Why not?
Oh, so just saying, when Kane was injured that time, you seen Song's form dropping massively.
Yeah, well, he's that's what I said in previous shows. Like if Kane gets injured, like the rest of them are just lost. They don't know what to do. Even that year when Leicester won the league, Kane was injured for about a month, and Pochettino played up front, and then someone was getting hat tricks, game after game, and Dele Alli was scoring. But it didn't work with Mourinho. Like, Mourinho played son up front when Kane was injured, and it just didn't work. Like, they were lost without him.
Yeah, well, you're always going to have that talisman player there, aren't you? I mean, every team has that. I mean, United have it, Liverpool have it. Everyone has that kind of player. But I don't know. I suppose it depends on what the intention is. I mean, you would assume he's going to generate somewhere between 60 to 90 million. You would assume. Yeah. And it just depends on what Levy's plan is to spend that money and convince the other players that there's a rebuild plan in. And I mean, really should be nearly looking at this stage at maybe trying to build a team around someone like Dele Alli, who's been out in the cold for so long. But when he's fired up, when he's involved,
definitely.
Someone just needs to tell him to sort out that new hairstyle. That's absolutely ridiculous. But apart from that, like, he just needs to. I don't know. They need to figure out what a plan is and put a plan in place. But I mean, they need the worry for me at the moment is not getting a manager over the line, that they can't find someone. Yeah. And whoever they're chasing seems to be either re-signing or else picking up a job somewhere else. And I get the feeling you could be right where they could go with a cheaper manager option. And then that could lead the players thinking, well, maybe I've done my time here and it's time to move.
It's not working,
But it'd be worrying times, as we said, for Spurs. You know what I mean? Kane going sends a big message. And it just depends on what funds are available there. I mean, obviously we're paying for the stadium, which is an absolutely outstanding stadium and stuff like that. But I'd worry for Spurs if it starts a ripple effect,
They're all follow.
Yesterday's game, lads, West Brom versus Liverpool. Obviously, Alisson getting all the plaudits for the goal and stuff like that. But I thought Thiago was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding in the way he played. And we are seeing flashes of the Thiago now that we actually purchased and thought we had, he absolutely controlled that midfield yesterday. His passing is outstanding. His vision is outstanding. the amount of chances he created yesterday for people. I just thought he was absolutely brilliant. And I really can't wait till next season to see Thiago with a proper pre-season under with Liverpool and some of those players back. I think he's going to be a huge player next year in the Premier League. I really do. Top 4 race. Go ahead.
How did we get back to talking about Liverpool there?
It's the next one on the list of hot topics. Did you not read your homework?
Right, you know what I was going to say, Noel? It's about time he done that after all his no-shows all season. Do you know that? Jokes aside, he was actually quite good the other day. I thought so as well. I was watching him thinking.
He was,
You know, I thought, you know what? Because I actually turned around and went, who's your man there? And then I went, oh, it's Thiago.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but he was all over the pitch. That's the Bayern Munich Thiago that we see. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. Do you think it's because when he came in, he's kind of had a makeshift midfield? Obviously, you had Henderson and Fabinho playing centre half. You know, do you think now he's more settled in? That's why he's kind of performing.
It's probably taken time as well to find his feet really in the Premier League. It's obviously a much more physical and powering kind of league, more so than the Bundesliga. And you think about it, like 9 times out of 10 when Bayern are playing, they're showing up. They beat most teams with a training session. You know what I mean? Until they play the Dortmunds or, you know, the bigger teams in the league. You know, most of the teams there, they're showing up and it probably feels like a kickabout, you know what I mean? But you can see with Thiago this season, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't show up against the Burnleys and the Fulhams and the Brightons of this world, you're going to draw, you're going to get beaten, you're not going to get away with it. It's not like in the Bundesliga, you know what I mean? So it's
and that goal he scored there last week or 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? He's probably done his confidence, you know, wonders scoring that.
And only missed one yesterday, the exact same, actually. Went for one yesterday, the exact same that just went by the post, you know. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him next year. I think he'll be huge when he's back in there with he hadn't got Fabinho most of the season. He was playing in defence, which has been a huge link up for him as well. And I think when we get him, Fabinho and Henderson in that midfield, it'll be a formidable midfield next season.
I think people are forgetting like how good Henderson and Van Dijk were. I mean, that spine of Liverpool comes back with Thiago. I mean, Salah and all are still there. And I can imagine you're going to sign maybe 1 or 2 in the summer. Like, very interesting to see, because everyone I think is a short memory and they forget how good that Liverpool team was. I mean, I like hates me to say this, but they were the best footballing team in Europe, hands down. There was not one team in Europe that Liverpool played that thought they were going to lose. You know, they could have played Barcelona, they could have played Real Madrid, they could have played Inter Milan, and they went out with the confidence, with the chance they were going to beat them. And now they've been riddled with injuries, having no structure to the starting 11 or anything like that. It's really affected them, you know. Plus all the personal things that have happened at Liverpool this year as well. And so I think you're dead right. I think next season that Liverpool team is going to be decent, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Wayne, I don't have a short-term memory. It's a selected memory. I don't want to remember these things.
Yeah, to be fair, me too.
We kind of we spoke last week on the Monday mashup about some of the turmoil that's going on at Juventus with Pirlo there, Buffon coming out saying he's going to leave. Pirlo looks like he's at the last chance saloon. What a player, but again, sometimes great players don't become great managers. But we're hearing news today, and we kind of called it really that you know, Ronaldo ain't going to have any appetite there for Thursday night football. So news broke today that he hired a company to transport all his prize assets, they called it, which I believe is a fleet of sports cars, from what I hear. Back to Lisbon and his Ballon d'Ors, but he can leave that statue. He can leave the statue behind because it's absolutely woeful.
It looks like Real Mo.
Yeah, it's like but yeah, so it's an interesting that he's making that move already, which means his head is obviously elsewhere. And they still have a game to come, so they still could pull off the great escape and get in the top 4.
Yeah. Not in that favour.
Yeah, but
that all that just tells you there's rumblings going on behind the scenes that, you know, isn't out as of yet, but will come out in the next few weeks, definitely. Like,
Mark, would you have him back at United?
No, you know, all sentiment aside, no. Like, I'd rather get someone young and up and coming in than, you know, and we already signed Cavani back. Do you play Cavani and Ronaldo, you know, in the same team at their age and pay their wages? Like, I don't think so.
100%.
I don't know.
Mark, I think I'm why I'm making faces there. I think that's mental because, do you know what? And I don't care what anyone says. Ronaldo is not like other footballers, man. Age that he could be 40, he could be 25. Age doesn't matter to that man. Like his level of fitness and his output is still the same as it was. You know, he can't say he's old or slow because if anything, he just gets better and better.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, if I had the choice to take Ronaldo or Sancho, I'd take Sancho because if you take Ronaldo, you're missing out on getting a player in such as Sancho, someone that you know has another 10, 15 years in them, you know, that sort of way.
Absolutely. But did Liverpool did I not say the other day that Liverpool made like the initial talks, like have broken into initial talks with Sancho's agents or something? I thought I read that and it was supposedly like a decent from what I heard anyways, it was supposed to be legit news, like that they've gone into the initial talks with Sancho's agent. So which I was a bit surprised because I would have assumed he would have went to United, but I think from leaving City, I think he'd love to come back to England and prove a point, you know, to play for Liverpool or United. I think he'd relish in that, you know, because he is quality, you know, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be a real interesting one this summer because I think he's really the big signing that could come potentially into the Premier League because I just don't see Haaland happening anywhere. I really don't. And there's talk now
for that money.
He's going to stay at Dortmund now, primarily because he's priced out of the market at the moment and he has no choice, to be honest, by the looks of things.
You think anyone would go in for Jude Bellingham because to bring him back to England? I mean, I need a big, like, could you see? I could see him going somewhere like Chelsea. If I was Jude Bellingham, I'd stay exactly where I am at the moment and let my career progress a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at Jude Bellingham and I don't know whether he would be as effective in the Premier League from a physicality point of view. I think it's very easy to play that style of play when you're in the Bundesliga because you're kind of playing in a really, really good team and you're kind of protected somewhat. You're surrounded by a lot of talent as well, even though Dortmund this year have fallen short of where they should be, but at times they played absolutely exquisite football, you know what I mean? Bellingham, I'd like to see him there just another year, maybe just to build himself up a bit, you know.
We had a chance to sign him. We had that time he came to meet our representatives and he had the third Aeon training complex. And from what I heard, his agent was telling him, go to Europe, a few seasons over there, your price will shoot up. You're getting Champions League football where he wouldn't with us at the time. So you know you can't blame him. And you're right, now he'll probably stay there another year or two in Europe playing high level football. And like I said, his value will just shoot up.
Yeah. I really do believe where a lot of these players fall down, they get ill advised. And what happens is they don't realise the physicality of the Premier League. And they end up breaking down, they end up getting injuries, they end up not being up for it. And they end up looking at a shadow of themselves than what they look, say, playing in the Bundesliga or in France or whatever it is. And I just think another year there with him would do him the world of good. And to be honest with you, at his age, there's absolutely no rush at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only one thing I would say, international wise, it's probably better for him to be in the Premier League, to be chosen by Gareth Southgate, but obviously from club point of view, stay with Dortmund, absolutely.
The other side, I suppose, as well, is if Sancho moves and sells, you're looking at Jude Bellingham potentially stepping up there and being a real star at Dortmund then, you know what I mean, as well. Yeah. You know, so...
the other thing I'd say, Noel, where I think you're kind of right, is you could almost say if he stayed 2 seasons at Dortmund, he still wouldn't even be 20, you know, playing at that level. You know, he's already got Champions League experience. If he stayed there even for 2 seasons, you can imagine the player he'd become, the value he'd have, you know, and he'd be not even 20 years old. So I think he could be £100 million player by then, you know, if he's not already, you know, because of his age.
Yeah. So, and we know the level. We know the level of coaching that they get as well in the Bundesliga is a very high level as well at that age and all, you know. And the fear as well, Mark, I suppose, would be is if United did sign him, is he going to be another Donny van de Beek? Is he going to be sitting there? Is he going to be played? You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas if he's in Dortmund, he's nearly playing week in, week out. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's playing so much football builds up that physicality as well for when he does come back. You know what I mean? He'll be an absolute star in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt one day. And I think if Gareth Southgate has any sense anyway, he should be looking well more than further afield than just the Premier League and things. Players, you know what I mean? Jadon Sancho gets in, so
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Mark,
I think yes.
Mark, what's your opinion, and even to you, Graham and Niall as well? But what do you think of Amad Diallo? Like, because he had such a big reputation, like coming into United, and I understand they're not playing him that much, you know. And the bits we have seen, he's been brilliant. You know, got an assist or whatever the other day. But what do you make of this? Like him not getting much game time? Because I remember before he signed, he was everywhere. Like he was the next big thing, you know.
Yeah.
And had a big reputation.
No, look, I've watched a lot of them play for the under-23s on MUTV and stuff, and he's doing really, really well. I think you know, he only came in January to the setup. I think Ole's just managing him. I think he's managing his minutes. At the moment, you know, who are you going to put him ahead of Greenwood? You know, are you going to put him ahead of Pogba or Rashford? But I think next season he'll definitely get more game time. I think he's done it right, just throwing him in here and there, getting him a feel for the Premier League, because we talked about the physicality about the Premier League. He's obviously not the biggest, tallest lad, or you know, so that's what I think Ole is doing, is just kind of easing him into it. We know his quality. We've seen what he's done in Italy, and like I said, I've been watching what he's doing in the 23s. But I think it's just try to ease him in and manage his time in the team as well.
Sometimes when I talk about physicality, it's not necessarily the physicality as in the size. Like I'm not looking for a bodybuilder type of thing.
Yeah,
no. I'm looking for that actual muscle maturity of the physicality of the battle in the matches.
Look at Phil Foden as an example. You know, he's not a big lad at all, but he's well able to plant his feet. You know, and he throw his weight in at the right time and all that.
But the difference is, you know, Phil Foden has come up playing in England. He's played in Stockport and, you know, the leagues that you get beaten around, and Diallo hasn't had that, so it is a case of just easing him into it.
It's a process.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that'd be the prime example, like, wouldn't it be? If Ollie followed the structure Pep used, bringing Phil Foden, like, people forget he's actually been in the first team for 4 years, nearly 3 years definitely, nearly 4 years. Like he's already won a Premier League with us, you know. I think he played 8 or 9 games that season. So if Ollie say, for example, or any manager after follows that path with players like Diallo, it's proven to work, you know. Absolutely proven to work. Like
you have to protect him. Pep did a great job of protecting Foden. You know what I mean? So he didn't expose him in any way. You know what I mean? He dipped him in there when he had to and take him back out.
You know.
I suppose, lads, we send our condolences over to Brian Rogers' family, the Crystal Palace kit man who passed away there the other day. So obviously our condolences and thoughts of
rest in peace,
Brian Rogers' family. You know what I mean? Kit man there for 15 years. You know what I mean? Outstanding. And I think actually when I was reading up on it today, he actually started out as a coach driver for them as well before becoming the head kit man. You know, so condolences to Brian Rogers' family. Chelsea, you know, we go back to Chelsea again, can't catch a break. Barcelona women absolutely thumped them in the Champions League final, 4-0.
First half an hour of the game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Very quick. Very quick. Yeah.
Absolutely done it. And then I think they kind of, I shouldn't say this, but I think it was a bit of politeness in the second half that they kind of short moved the ball around a bit slower. Yeah, because they absolutely annihilated them, you know. And Chelsea's women's team is no team; they're no rollovers, like, you know.
No. Do you know the only thing that disappointed me looking at it? And it's no. But apart from that, it's my first time. It's my first time really looking into it. You know what I mean? The trophy is a bit disappointing, isn't it? The actual trophy is a bit disappointing. I was expecting that they'd have like a Champions League trophy, but a women's version. But it looked more like it nearly looked like one of those golf trophies from, you know, out in Dubai or something like that. You know, the trophies that they do with like 3 pillars on it and stuff. Yeah. So I was just disappointed in the actual physical trophy itself, you know. But outstanding job by Barcelona women. And I suppose did I read as well that they're the first club now to have won a women's Champions League and a men's Champions League?
Yeah.
That's hard to believe, isn't it, when you think about it? Because you would think you would naturally think that, you know, the monster clubs out there would have really good women's setup as well and attract all the top women as well. So it's hard to believe like that the likes of a Real Madrid women's hasn't won a Champions League and they've won a Champions League. You know what I mean? But it's hard to believe that's the first club to do it. So very impressive.
I think the likes of Leon women's team have been dominating Europe the last few years. So it's good to see Barcelona, you know, get there and their style of football, they're walking the ball in like the senior team.
Yeah, like I was going to say, lads, like, yous are involved in grassroots football, like, you know, and you know there's plenty of young girls getting into the game. And for example, the Champions League, right? I understand maybe the league football isn't the high entertainment value standard, if you know what I mean. But there's no argument the Women's Champions League is, and there's no excuse for not to get the backing and support of the men's. So when I say backing and support, what I mean is like the visibility, the marketing that it gets. You know, how could you not say that final wasn't entertaining? Four goals.
Oh, it was.
Some brilliant football, and it doesn't get the broadcast it deserves or the audience it deserves. You know.
Yeah. Remember the World Cup last year, the Women's World Cup. I was just sitting there watching it. It was brilliant. The standard was brilliant.
Absolutely.
And I tell you when I went out to Rosemount and had a kickabout yesterday, and 20 of us turned up. So there was 18 lads and 2 girls turned up. And
social distance football.
Yeah, no. We split it. We done 2 5-a-side games. But I was playing against 2 of the girls, and they were absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like Rosemount to set up a senior team. You want to see the interest they got from the area. Lucan United are doing out here as well. It's great to see.
Well, like I was only reading the thing today about Man United saying that, and again, this isn't Man United, it's the Glazers again, but they're not getting the investment. So look at Chelsea, look at Liverpool, City, West Ham. Look at the investment their women's teams are getting. Leeds. What's happening with Man United? They're not getting the backing or support like any of the other women's teams, you know. And I think all that.
The manager left.
Yeah. You know. And I think more. Like where I was living in London, there was the local, like I used to work in Wimbledon, and Wimbledon is where Chelsea women train, you know, and in that area they have a huge support, you know. And I think, I don't know, like you said about the World Cup, the Women's World Cup was absolutely class watching Ellen White in the England team, and even Megan Rapinoe, no matter how controversial she is, absolutely quality footballer, absolutely quality, you know. And I just thought, my point is, it's just, I think it's mad that the Champions League final, the Women's Champions League final doesn't get as much broadcast as it deserves, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think though over the next few years, I think a lot of that will change though, because you can even see with the women's football over in the UK, even the likes of the girls that now Arsenal are producing and everything are outstanding. Obviously Chelsea getting to the final was obviously huge, you know what I mean? And I think the fact that Chelsea got to the final will sort of, you know, bring it up that bit more and raise it that bit more. And then it's great as well, like you see there the other day, Alex Scott getting promoted into Focus Football or Football Focus and stuff like that. It's great to see those ex-players doing such a great job, even in punditry and pushing the narrative all the time. So we wish the women well, and we know it's going to develop well and stuff like that. They just need to keep investing in it all the time and push it. And
you'll start to see more sponsors come out of the woodwork and investing in it. And it'd be great to see.
Look at even Ireland's women's team, man. We've had some reasonable success over the years. You know, we've done well in competitions. We've always gotten far. We've always shown up, you know. And we have some quality Irish women players as well. So,
our captain, Kate McCabe, she's a star in the first 11 for Arsenal week in, week out in the middle of midfield. She's unbelievable.
Incredible,
and it's even over here, Peamount United have an unbelievable women's team.
Unbelievable team,
Yeah, obviously Stephanie Roach played for them, and anytime a refereeing up there, the setup up there is brilliant, you know.
I used to go to school with a girl who played for them, funny enough. But I was going to say, if there's any female guests watching, we never had a female guest on, have we? We've no female guest on yet.
They're more than welcome anytime.
Leave it with me.
Mark is working on it. We've potentially a number of interviews coming up soon on the
as long as she doesn't support United, it's all right. Or Liverpool. We've too many Liverpool fans on here, so maybe.
I hear it. There's me list gone. Look, there's me list gone.
In the bin. Look what you did.
Deadly. I suppose it's fitting if we round out the second last Monday mashup of the season by saying It's great to see the fans. Well, apart from that, but it's great to see the fans back, isn't it? It's great fans back for the last two games. And I just thought at the FA Cup final and all, I just thought it was great to see fans back again. Like,
the player the real boost,
Even seeing it there, did you see on Sky Sports News? Bournemouth are playing Brentford this evening. They were, and all the fans lining up outside the ground to get in. It's lashing rain. There was an old lad wearing a plastic bag on his head just to keep the rain out. It's just it's little things like that. It's great.
The little things, yeah.
But it's
I
just.
know. I thought for me the noise. There's a video of the Chelsea fans in the stand, going wild after they scored, right? And rightfully so. Like brilliant to watch. But when you hear the Leicester roar, and that's the only way I can describe it, their faces drop. But the noise, that roar, you forgot what it sounded like almost to hear it even on telly, It was absolutely class.
Great to hear. Yeah.
And that was only a fraction of the fans in there when you think about it.
Yeah.
But it was I seen that video all right with it. And this is why we love fans at games, the celebration. And that's why VAR really is such a bastard, isn't it? Really, because it's a heartbreaker, you know what I mean? But it just, if you're a neutral, the entertainment it provides is just outstanding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that one where he's going absolutely crazy, he's running around all the fans, taking selfies and all that, and the next thing you just see his face drop.
Just oh no!
Oh my God, But I don't think there's anything else really to talk about, lads. We've summed up pretty good this week. And
Noel, sorry for cutting across here. Can I just say best of luck to Blackpool tomorrow in the semi-final playoff against Oxford?
In the darts.
I have been compared to Darryl Gurney in the past, so it's all right.
I thought it was a rugby league jersey, mate.
Blackpool FC.
Blackpool FC, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, good luck.
In fairness, when I have the body of a rugby league player, all right. a retired rugby league player.
So are you trying to say, Mark, those two girls yesterday that were playing football, was it a combination of them being good, or was it your lockdown fitness as well? Which was it? Like?
Listen, I was watching the game from a stretcher at the side of the pitch. Believe it or not, this jersey used to be a gazebo.
one of those umbrellas.
Robbed it from the scouts. He did. It was a tent they used to use for camping.
Now you look like Lance Armstrong coming up the Champs-Élysées. Quality, lads.
Louis Armstrong.
Pleasure as always. We do have a few of our mashers missing tonight. One's at home in bed tired, but he told me to give us a shout out. He loves all the banter and the interaction. One is still licking his wounds over the FA Cup final, but no doubt he'll come out of the traps tomorrow roaring and shouting if they get the result.
Hashtag Kelly.
But as always, lads, it's been a pleasure. And don't forget to tune in next week to the Monday Mashup, because we are going to be taking a look back at our own season. We're going to be talking about our actual combined 11 picks. And we're going to be having some serious banter, I'd say, the way things are shaping up, Cannot wait till next week. Lads, Dynamo Podcast Network, YouTube for the videos. Share, like, subscribe, smash the bell notification button. I'm blue and red in the face from talking about this. Head over to YouTube, get it done, support local podcasts. Also, Anchor for audio versions of the show. And if there is any female football fans tuning into the channel, get in touch with us and come on the show. There's plenty of room in here on the Monday Mashup panel for any female or women football players or football fans who want to come on. Give us a shout. Come on. We will have the crack. There's no doubt about it. You're more than welcome. Lads, till next week. Pleasure as always. Cheers, boys.
See you later, man.
Bye.
Cheers, lads. Well done.